Welcome everyone to another RGL cast. My name is Jared. I'm here with Space Ghost to bring you guys like a G6 versus Mal X. This is RGL Invite 6's Season 10, Week 2A. A little bit of a backlog here in the matches, but we got quite the match for you guys tonight. Two prospective playoff teams on a map that people haven't really seen in, well, maybe ever, depending on what your viewing experience is, but should be quite the treat as both these teams try to collect a win to solidify themselves as a top-level team, and probably even more important for the side of Mal than the side of G6 is, that probably suffering a couple more losses, but after their loss on a Koth map I guess 2 days ago, they're looking to switch things up, bring it to 5 CP, and trying to get enough set to give themselves a nice safety net, while G6, trying to collect another win, making sure that they stay a grand finalist level team, and there's another check mark for them, I would assume, but still quite the treat as Sultry is on the table tonight, Space.
Yeah, definitely. I think this is the first time Sultry is being played in RGL, if my memory serves correct. But regardless, a new map for both teams. I'm sure a lot of kinks to work out. As you gotta basically come up with new strats. I feel like, especially if you don't have that much experience with it, definitely going to be interesting to see how they approach this map.
Yeah, and before you even get into the nitty-gritty of Sultry, as that's going to be pretty much the main topic in regards to both these teams throughout the entire night, there's some other variables that you need to take into consideration it's probably important for us to go over the rosters, as there is a little bit of a substitution, as I think we're missing a player from the side of G6. I'll go ahead and go over the G6 roster. It is Bot Mode and Cap on Scout, Soapy and Kobe on Soldier. High Five is subbing in from 20cc in Logan's stead on Demoman, and Logai on Medic.
And from Alex, we have Shamu and Scratch on Scout, Trip and Aim on Soldier, Sai on Demo, and Dank on Medic. And yeah, I'm pretty excited for High Five Demo. He has some demo experience in Invite. I believe the team was called High Five Demo Man, if memory serves correct.
I think it was.
Yeah, definitely excited to see the purple cockfighter hat out there on the Demo Man class.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those guilty pleasure classes for him. I guess there's not too much to really be guilty about, but he doesn't really play it too much in leagues and league play, so it's always nice to see him on in a serious setting, because it's not really something you're gonna get to view that often. But I mean, on this map, that's throwing a whole new wrench into the plans. As you'd think oh well, okay, G6 is gonna they'll have a person that's technically off class, and okay, maybe that pulls some sort of comfort away as you try to figure things out to the best of your ability. But as we move into the main topic that is probably going to be before the match starts, that Sultry, that's going to be a lack of a comfort zone for maybe all the players.
I was gonna say, I don't know if I'd say Sai has more experience in High Five on Demo, so I don't know if playing on a new map is gonna favor those who have more experience on the class, or maybe favor High Five because High Five, he's played Demo, but he's probably hasn't played Demo as much on process as Sai. You know what I mean? So definitely, I'm not sure which side it'll favor. I feel like it could really go either way. Depends on, I guess, who's more adaptable. Who can improvise, adapt, and overcome better than the other team.
Yeah, I mean, G6 picks the map, so automatically you kind of assume all right, well, they must feel semi-confident. They have some sort of a game plan, but I'd probably bet that they did not expect Logan to not be here before they go ahead and went through with their pick bans. But you could also say that, oh, well, there's also something to be said about the fact that there's no reschedule, if you think that's that important to make sure you have your full team available for the match. So it's a little give and take, but I mean, like we said, having one sub is not going to be the end of the world for your strategy, when pretty much everyone's kind of having to just take things, one step at a time and craft their strategies as you play. It's one thing to have an idea of how something should work out on paper, whether it's the minor or major aspects of the gameplay, but it's a whole other beast to actually play that against other teams of different skill levels in a server and have things work out better than you expected, or just be completely dismantled to a point where you have to go back to the drawing board. And I'm sure the teams probably experienced that even still all the way up to maybe 5 minutes ago as the pre-games were ending.
Yeah, I'm really curious about how Soldier's play. I haven't played it myself. It's definitely, I'm looking at the map, and I'm not sure who you're gonna feel is a stronger, who are the strong classes. I mean, Scout obviously, best class in the game. Probably could play. Scout's probably gonna be fine, but I don't know if it's gonna be like a Metalworks or Goalie Wash kind of Scout map where there's a lot of indoor spaces on this map, so Scout's not quite as strong as some maps like Process or Sunshine. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think the one thing that it's difficult to say until you actually see it for yourself, and I have not tested it myself and actually thought about it until right now, is, you can't like, even as we're floating around in third person, just, like, waiting for people to join the server, I can't see how big the skybox is, right? That's usually a factor on how much leeway soldiers kinda have. Like, you look at the terrain all you want, but that's a pretty big factor, so it's kinda difficult. I think we'll have to at least watch a little bit before we get a nice idea. And realistically, I feel like we're probably in a privileged position to, be like having the first. I don't know if it's first public opinion, like in a large scale, but about how the map is going to play. We can only really make assumptions just looking at the map face value, 'cause since there's not really tons and tons of gameplay to go off of. Have you floated around the map at all to like get an idea of, well, maybe not an idea of the whole scope, anything that really catches your eye that like, oh, this really reminds me of this map, or oh, this area is going to be really difficult or really easy for certain spots?
I am sending client info, but
Oh, so
I
you're getting your first taste in
I'm
a
getting my
second here.
first taste. Yeah,
All
I'm
right.
rapidly approaching that point.
All right. Well, take my word with a grain of salt, as I've not had the privilege of playing in, I don't know, ever since this map came out. So I can only really judge based off of what it looks like. It kind of looks like this map is going to be the most important mid-fight map in the entire pool, because I look at the points and I imagine defending them from just like defender's perspective, defending your own two, defending your own last. It seems like, I don't know if it's good or bad, uh, at like standalone, but compared to the rest of the pool, it seems like you have less options as a team to really feel confident about locking things down to like, oh yeah, we can make sure that we like don't force here in a stalemate or things like that. There's a lot of little avenues. It seems like it's not that difficult of a map to try to get some sort of like at cap or rat play going due to sightline blockers and open doors. And especially with it being new, I would be very surprised if we didn't see things of that nature happening. If as long as you can catch a glimpse of like, oh, just go through the flank, rush it. Teams are still learning on an individual scale in that aspect. Even if you go over everything like as a whole group, there's going to be moments where like, oh no, I was too far forward, so now I'm dead, and they just got behind for free and they're back capping now. So I feel like, if just looking at the map, if you start on your own side of the map, you could be in for your own downfall, unless the other team screws up. Seems like a pretty easier than normal way to like kind of uh get forces and things like that, and have really good last pushes too, the way that the map is kind of shaped for the offender's perspective. But as I prefaced before I began into this whole spiel, which I only got into because it's a new map, I mean, you're probably going to have a more accurate representation of what this map truly entails when we go live between these two teams. And there's still, even despite all that, there's a lot of things to factor in.
Yeah, okay. Now that I'm kind of looking around the map a bit, I think I've played a very older version of this map with a completely different aesthetic. That the mid transitions look very familiar to me, and I'm looking at mid. It seems like there's a lot of It does see. Oh, the skybox takes you really high. Just I saw Trip
That's good for
Venture.
soldiers.
I mentioned I saw Trip just literally go like straight to Jupiter and then come back down. I also see there's a lot of walls to jump off of, so there definitely I think there's going to be a lot of interesting soldier bombs, at least on looking at mid here. The skybox seems big enough that you can get pretty high up, and there's a lot of places you can jump off of, a lot of different, kind of angles you could approach from. So I'd be a little worried for the medics on mid. It looks like it might be one of those maps. I'm not sure yet.
Yeah, at least the good thing about it is it doesn't really seem like you can be like, oh, this point's like this, like, and just say it's a certain points are copy pasted or anything like that. Um, but overall, it definitely seems promising enough to give it a shot. So it makes sense that it's in the season. So I'm excited to see where things go. But and definitely had a lot of prep going into this match for all these teams. Got to especially just because of how important this match is. Got to make sure you got all the call outs. Make sure you got the mid fights down. Every single way that a team's gonna idle when it's time to like get ready to go for forces or prevent your team from being forced. It's a lot to really take in, and that's before we even factored things like superset rat plays, or like the proponents of off classing and whether or not that's going to be strong outside of last. Like, I guess the sniper sight lines are pretty obvious and things like that, but we'll kind of see how that transpires. But I'm ready to get things going. We have everyone on the server, so fingers crossed it doesn't take too much longer. Dolphin will give us a heads up and a countdown. But We let everyone have their 2 cents on what they thought the match was gonna end up as, it's kind of a crapshoot, to be honest, given
I
the
see
fact that
something
everything's so
terrifying.
new, but, any 1, what do you see that's so terrifying, and 2, any thoughts on what the score is gonna be?
High Five's hat is not purple.
What?
Look at his hat. It's the cockfighter, but it's not purple. It's
You're lying.
he's in red spawn right now. I've never.
Hopefully he's in red spawn to fix it. Or maybe this is his oh, you know what?
Does he have a
It's because
Devilman special hat? He
no,
has
I
two
remember
cockfighters.
it's his dark era. He's in
Oh,
his dark era, that's why.
right. Who was it? That I totally forgot about that. Yeah, right. The longtime purple cockfighter that High Five always wears. He has been painted black because he's going through his High
It's
Five's
his
dark
depression
era.
arc.
Yeah, it's his excited to see that. I'm excited to see bit of Doberman gameplay from High Five, and it looks like there's a lot of potential traps on this map. There's a lot of just like things to put stickies on. It's not like Process where I feel like there's not that many like obstacles or just things to put things on. I feel like on a lot of certain this map it looks like there's a lot of different nooks and crannies you can hide stickies.
And the good news is for Domain players, there's a lot of time checking for traps as it's just built on PTSD. You die to a certain trap so many times throughout your TF2 career that you try to prevent that mistake from ever happening again, and that's where the check comes in. So when it comes to a new map, if that's not on your priority list on things to try to shape up with, Domain might have a field day and just putting traps in random locations, even if it doesn't make that much sense. It'll be the classic, why did he trap that scenario that just nuts a kill, and that could be great for your team. So it's always it's an interesting scenario that doesn't really pop up too much when everyone kind of knows what the traps are. It's just a matter of lapses of judgment and which trap did he actually put down? Where should I be checking? Things like that. Can I find it in time before my teammates find it accidentally in a bit of the wrong way? So it's it can be nice. I mean,
Yeah,
there's obviously some rough patches with backwards transitions from medics and demo players to make sure that they can get out in time when they're on the back foot. That's always really scary for new maps. This map seems like it's not going to be too dissimilar, but there's some saving graces there.
yeah. Looking at predictions here, it seems that Leica G6 is very favored here, which makes sense. But I think if Mal is gonna get an upset, I know I said this 2 days ago, but again, if Mal's gonna get an upset, this might be a decent chance to, considering we're A, on a new map, and B, Leica G6 does not have Logan, they have High Five ring demo. With a rear demo, I think it's gonna get a little more confused. So, as we're starting to go live here, quick predictions, what do you think? I personally think like 4-3 G6. I'm gonna say Mal has a good showing.
I'll say like a 5-2 for G6, but the spam immediately goes out as we are alive into the first mids. Just some minor damage on some of the scouts for the blue team, but they're immediately going to try to make more space. And Dank is actually taking a turn, taking so much damage.
Side
Kobe's on
bombs.
the chase, but Logai and High Five both dropping inside their own choke. Huge from the soldiers from the blue team, but they've given up so much and only got so little in return. Dank trying to escape Soapy, pretty weak, a bit careful, and Dank is actually going to run forward, recognizing the HP, getting that arrow kill, and taking the package, running away. Kobe unable to catch up, was also very weak at the same time, and Dank has defied the odds and made sure that he has survived. So ad for the side of Mal.
Did you notice Psy bombed on mid? Or I don't know.
Really?
I don't know if it's intentional, but Trip bombed, and then I saw Psy next to Trip in the enemy choke.
Maybe he did.
I don't know if that was. I didn't see what happened to cause that. I just saw that Psy was in, and as the second Psy went in, Dank was just out of there. So interesting strategies there is maybe the the bomb your demo on mid strat didn't work that time, but I hope I see it in the future. That's some exciting technology. As we do have a fight here between Trip and Kobe, and Trip is actually going to win that as blue team's kind of streaming out here. No Uber pop. Wall guy does have a 20% disad, and blue team actually heading straight to mid.
Yeah, and they're just bombing straight in. Oh, but Psy gets air shot as he jumps in. Is Soapy gonna even survive? No, he is gonna give up his life, but technically gets the force and super denies Psy from getting very important picks. But overall, very good play from the side of Mal. It seemed like the side of G6, I mean, they're a bit misconstrued on what was going to happen. I think we saw Kobe get really aggressive in the flank, but didn't really have a whole lot of help. Just lost a 1v1 coin flip and caught by the Uber. But
look at
they have
Shamu.
some room now to try to move forward. And yeah, Shamu's hiding just a tad. We talked immediately about the back cap scenario, but they might find him. But he'll just be given a free high five pick as Trip has gone in and got enough chaos and damage to get this force. Aim will fall as well, but giving up both your soldiers for a forced and a Doman pick, can't really be mad at that, and especially because they have their own Uber to work with if this drags on long enough, and it certainly will. Dank's in a pretty safe location. They're not actually playing too aggressive for the jokes because G6 are kind of poking around, seeing if anyone's too aggressive, they can kind of clean up. Kobe's actually really deep inside the secret hallway, but will not be able to go for anything. Spotted a bit too quickly, but Dank and friends on the move in the opposing hallway that has not been named quite yet since this is such a new map, but they're actually milking this like nobody's business. Finally will pop
Side
on
bombing
the point,
again.
but
Or he tried to, no!
yeah, not really able to get anywhere.
He thought about it. It looked like he was like planning on it, and then I think his sticky just got like sent somewhere else, and that's the pressure. Is Trip gonna try to bomb? I think he hit his forehead on something, but Cap's gonna die to a trap, and that's gonna spell a little bit of a disaster here. For G6, they still have 60% Uber ad to work with, but they're on their last, and there's gonna be a push out of last here, and I'd be concerned about G6. I'd be concerned about a back Cap potentially. This definitely.
Sai's just in.
He gets the force.
I guess that's gonna be the method to their madness. Just sack him with a demo, and that's enough to get the job done.
I can't tell if Sai is protesting playing this map, or if this just is like their strategy, or this is just what Sai wants to do. Sai's just like, I'm bombing now. I'm reinventing the meta.
Sai is very much a classic. Like if he's not in his comfort zone, he's not very happy. So this might be his way. Like, hey, just let me go in and play like a madman, and it'll get the job done. You know, I won't have to sit on traps forever on this map that I'm not familiar with, and you know, the force will happen. It'll work. So far, I mean, neither round has gone. Yeah, it hasn't not been working. Oh, Scratch got sent to the skybox.
Yeah, there is a good trap there. It didn't get any kills, but it sent people so high as Sai is just walking into Mambo's hitbox, gets the pipe kill. Big Uber for Lol guy here, but Val might try to make a play on last. Scratch is in last. The demo has spotted him, but he's going to create a good distraction here for the rest of the team. Maybe fall, but both bombs in. Scratch going to set to the skybox. Is not going to be saved by his medic. Soapy going to fall those. There's a lot of players in. Again, they see they're actually trying to get the force, and they do manage to get the force on the Lol guy, but at the cost of 3, maybe even 4. At 4 players.
Yeah, they're trying to just go off the pick they got, but it wasn't really too much to work off of. I mean, they got a decent amount of room to get in from the side of the flank, but it just wasn't quite enough. Only able to get a single kill and I mean, technically get a force, but losing way too much in return. But Scratch, Island Sniper might have some returns here for the side of Malice. G6, they still have the advantage with the amount of players rolling out from the side of Mal, backing up the best they can. Trip very low, we'll see double zone rocket, and Scratch is locked down in the shutter from the side of Soapy, but
Soapy's
Soapy going for a bomb. Going for round 2 maybe,
Sai.
will find Sai maybe, but he's a bit weak. Sai bashes his head up against the ceiling, but will eventually escape, and dies. Cap's trying to go in for the kill, will give up his life for it, making sure the dome is dead on the grave as Uber is ready to go. They actually don't even have to use it yet as Kobe trying to jump away will not be so lucky. Flank overside on the, I think on the blue side of the map, just an overall soldier trade is this Cap. I mean, they want to chase with this Uber, but they need the Cap. Okay, they get a demo, man. Gotta lock out the forward spawns, though. Did they thread the needle just barely? Are they gonna block it out?
No.
Not quite.
Yeah, even Uber's G6 down high 5 means it looks like they're gonna push without the demo. They're like, we don't need high 5. No, we can push. We don't need the domain plus to lock these jokes. Shamu gonna get very aggressive here, taking actually I think the pressure from Mal just kind of scared G6 off. They wanted to poke to see if they could get in, but then they saw players actively shooting them. They're like, maybe let's chill. Even Ubers, let's chill a second.
They saw a very small window of opportunity where, I mean, Mal has everyone, but half of their players, literally 3 of them, are rolling out. If one of the 3 on mid are a bit too close, we can find them and kill them and then make that a snowball, but Mal was a bit too passive, was unable to find anything and definitely backed out, being a good idea, so G6 sitting on their own too, and things are slowing down slightly, but not too slow as the bomb comes in for Trip. Lord unable to surf and back against the wall, trusted his teammates to get the kill before a second rocket come out, but was not enough damage. Dank did get force though, so that's not all sunshine and rainbows for the side of Malice. The rest of G6, they're still kind of on the move. They're trying to back
too. Yes, they got
them up, but yeah, pack is very readily available, and they're adding some cap time, but with the reinforcements coming from Mal as the respawners flooding in it, yeah, they're not really going to be able to do too much here. Already heading back out to 2, and despite it not working out super cleanly, getting forced, Mal are still in the driver's seat.
Yeah, they have like a 20% ad to work with. I don't know if that's enough to push off of, but considering they've been doing demo man bombs, I think anything's possible here. As Trip actually gonna get pretty ruled. Actually, he almost died to, I believe that was Soapy or Kobe, one of the two. But Soldier v Soldier fight, Trip almost dying there as we're gonna be building up our Uber. It looks like they're gonna take a different door. They want to start going here, but there's a sneaky trap eagerly. And he did it.
Yep, they're trying to go through the glass hallway, trying to make some room. I don't know if they're going to try to use this 15% ad with 4. They're taking so much damage. Scratch just tries to make some space of it and just falling to spam, and no one else on Mal is really in, so they're just going to go ahead and cut their losses, say that's a sack, it's even, whatever. Back up, and G6, they have some room to move. Kobe was a bit weak, takes an arrow, might be able to find some space, and is jumping through, but immediately shut down. This is not the door you want to sack through, I don't think, as both soldiers find themselves here, but unable to actually get through the doorway. Locked down, nice air shot on a Trip, blasted back to 15 HP, will barely survive, and they're able to do some damage, but not actually get the counter sack that they would want. So at the end of the day, going to be 6 up for the side of G6, sacking none, and Mal, they get a try number 2 at breaking into this second hold.
I think it's interesting that, like, looking at choke means that you can kind of watch the door next to choke, but it's like, it's a little, like, you have to be a little vigilant about it, because if you're watching choke and you're kind of standing around there, but you're not watching that flank, it's really easy to get pinched. So definitely, like, it's kind of weird that you can't hold super close to choke without, like, immediately getting flanked. As Scratch goes down to a trap, found the trap, good sack. As settling into 2 minutes here, I think Mal at some point got to start thinking about, all right, what point do we go in? As we are going to see a sack onto Dank. Dank going to surf below the point, but no damage done. Does eat like a one decent rocket, but one not enough. As the G6 gonna be down. Oh, there goes Shamu. Alright, these sacks are, I feel like, I don't know if the single sacks are like intentional or just people dying beforehand, or just like they don't feel confident doing like doubles, because they're doing doubles and triples before and getting the force, but they also had to give up the point.
Might be a test in the water type thing. Kobe trying to go for a sack, will not find Dank pretty far back, so Trip trying to go for low guy, gets the low guy weak, but
aim, think about it.
He's spamming. He's juggled a bit though. Cap's actually able to get that kill, and no soldiers for the side of Mal means it's actually pretty easy for G6 to kind of find a way to sneak through.
There goes Sophie.
Sophie went in a bit too early, unable to find the room, and will just end up dying to Shamu and Sai combo together. Or Scratch and Sai, either one. But locked out, and no real counter sack besides the initial Kobe bomb coming in from the side of G6. And yeah, I feel like both teams are just feeling each other out. We are seeing a lot of, like, we're seeing some soldier bombs, but especially from Mal, we're seeing them just run in Scratch to see how G6 respond. Like, he's even trying to do it once more. Like, let me walk through and just see if they're willing to
Trip.
bring everyone. But Trip tries to go off the distraction. It's not going to be able to get too much room at all.
Oh, look at this choke pressure from G6. They're getting really aggressive and trying to get the spam out as they try to leave that flank there. As Kobe is going to go in, actually both soldiers going to go in. G6 is going to just try to get their soldiers through the choke. No force, but a lot of hurt players from the side of blue means they don't get healthy. All right, 20 seconds left. Do you push yours, Mal? Do you try to reset it? I feel like if it's Mal, you kind of have to go in.
I mean, it depends on how confident you are in your mids, because you don't have that much more room, but they apparently feel like this is their best shot and really going for it. They brought their entire team, and they know that Sophie's not quite there. And
here comes the
actually
force.
behind. The Uber comes out anyway, exchange coming in. They're having a bit of a family Uber, some flashes, but it's not too bad. But everyone is inside this glass hallway from the side of Mal. As there's some cap time to allow some overtime as the fight continues to rain on, but they've lost both their scouts, and Aim trying to come in for the flank the last second to see if he can get some salvation frag, but will not be so lucky. And yeah, they're behind. They're on to Dank and Sai as they barely get on. Dank's actually able to get an arrow onto Soapy mid-air to just barely survive for now. Scratch up and respawn, making sure that the scout is thwarted in the side of Caps. And overall, I mean, Dank survives, but survives a very all-in scenario that definitely does not work in the favor of Mal.
Trip is going in. Mal wants to refight this immediately as high five going to fall means that these doors are going to be a little more free. Although a lot of hurt players on the side of Mal, but I feel like it just scouts here. Finally, there's a soldier block the door, but Mamut's already died. Dank going to get knocked up, and he's actually going to get pinched by both soldiers. Dank going to fall, but at what cost? As G6 sitting on mid. They're trying to get healthy. I don't know if Sophie can't even get out. It's just these two alive in a spawner.
Yeah, low guy's trying to escape, doesn't have any sort of scout speed or anything, but no one is really healthy enough to go for the chase. Scratch just sitting on the cap really weak. Aim didn't feel like he'd go for it, and I mean, they need some respawners up for the side of G6 to really stop this, but they're definitely going to poke around for sure, as they know that they do have some respawners ahead of Mal. They had some people rolling out, not quite there, and Mal, they realize that they don't have their full squad. They are just conceding. If they try to take this fight, they are going to bleed very heavily. Good call from them, and add for the side of Logai as they work down the glass hallway to see if they can just go straight for her too.
Must have done it. Sai had a trap there at some point, he must have did it, or it might have been the other side. But the spam is insane. Trip basically just getting a spam force there. See if anyone else is gonna fall. Oh, Dank actually gonna get caught in, and that's gonna be a 2K. That's actually huge. So high five, getting the medic kill there means this is quickly turning into a disaster for Malice. It just Aim and Shabu left the whole last against the oncoming flip. High five falling gonna help a bit, but I don't. It's just Aim versus Uniform. Oh, there's Trip at least. Oh, Trip Legacy.
A bit too much to handle, but maybe bought enough time for respawn.
That was
not quite enough, and after the Uber on too. I mean, not too much of a defense left up for the side of Mal for G6 to really, I mean, have too much of a trouble with. I mean, High Five went in a bit early, died really quickly, but still was not quite enough to stop them from taking that round 1-0 in favor of G6.
Yeah, I think, that was like, what, a 12, 13-minute round? So I think overall, like, Mal's in the driver's seat, but I feel like they got forced because of the overtime. Maybe they should have reset the round at that rate, because that drive push really can just spell disaster for the round overall.
Yeah, bomb coming in from the side of aim.
Oh,
is actually able to kill Logai. High Five died as well from Shamu, and they really all into this. Yeah, I saw him flying through the air, and with 3 left alive from the side of G6, they got to work together to see if they can get any sort of kill, and they're looping around. They're finding some room to get onto Dank and Kobe's on the chase, but the Surf is there for Dank. He's able to go back for a pack and will live A-okay, and it seems like that's going to be their strategy, which is the classic exists on every map. It's all right. We'll hang back. We'll find a way to kill their medic, and then we'll just hold S as much as we need to. And even if we lose the mid, we'll win the mid because we'll have heals. But this time it works in dividends. Mal, not able to lose it, really. And holding that on, the full Uber and the mid. And this is the real first honest last push I think we'll see with a setup. Got the gun. Nothing really else from the side of G6, but I'm curious to see how this goes. It seems really open. It doesn't seem too difficult to blast stickies off the point, lure people forward, or just chase down any kill you want that doesn't run into spawn, so kind of curious to see how this will go.
Yeah, I'm curious how you hold this too. Here comes the Uber. Sai actually not going to bomb. They're just going to walk, kill the sentry. You can't see an advanced setup. Sai going to trap up the right spawn, but he's going to get pressured by both soldiers. Can you look? He's actually on the booties as he's going to get air shot. And that last push did not go the way they expected, but they got a force.
Yeah, the Uber definitely saved G6 there. They're really deep before that Uber ended, but the Uber definitely saves them, so good play from them to hold out for that Uber. But Shamu, he's on the move, got one, but is unable to defeat Soapy Meister, who was holding last. And Cap's going back too, just in case, so we're not really going to see too much there. But overall, 1 player down on both teams. Relatively even though Mal popped first, but with them being down a spam class from the side of G6, you could maybe see Mal poke around, but, I mean, I guess they're just waiting for Shamu. Don't want to bite up more than they can chew. Make sure you got this Uber in your back pocket in case something goes wrong. And honestly, you could probably still even talk about, like, how do you want to break into this too? Because so far they've tried a bunch of different things and it has not worked. Even the Uber exchange, the Hail Mary we saw at the end of the day was probably the worst thing they've done so far, unfortunately, for Mal fans. So we'll continue to see what they try to craft up and see if it'll work better than what we saw last time.
Yeah, it looks like they're going to send most of their team through this kind of like left flank by choke. I guess we gotta come up for a name for it at some point. Soldier gonna
like
pre-fire
2 top secret doors, so I call it secret. The other hallway has a bunch of glass, so I call it glass.
Okay, is this secret? We'll call it top secret or secret or something. Is actually Kobe gonna go behind, see if he can go for a play, but unable to find one. Looking for the medic, unable to find it as this is their counter sack. A nice attempt, but no cigar. As G6 kind of getting pretty close. Actually, Shamu might get a kind of a backstab here on Caps. He is going to get Caps, but he's going to get traded out. So nice attempt there by Shamu to see if he can get an opening. Actually, he did get an opening. Mal's going to kind of flood in here, but Sophie behind. Can he get Nick? He misses the spoon!
Oh, he really went for the all-in play, but still able to get Sai, but tons of carnage happening all over the map. There was so much room for the side of Mal. They're still kind of in this. Scratch is actually on the move. I shouldn't say it like they're counted out. Guy has no one to use the Uber on, so he's finally returning to make sure that Scratch can die in time, but not before the Uber comes out. And what a grand play from the side of Mal. It was a bit of a roller coaster. It was really good and then kind of shaky where you thought, oh no, it's not going to work. And then last second, all works out. And with no doubt, man, it's going to be a really tough call to not only push mid, but to really hold 2 in the short term. Mal has an opening here. Despite Scratch being dead, they could use the fact that High Five cannot sticky any of these doorways, but no, they're going to go ahead and go for the Uber play. They recognize that because Guy got forced so late in the engagement near the end that they have an opportunity to use a very slight ad, which, I mean, so far, every single one of these Ubers has been just bombing in right off the bat as soon as you get through a doorway. No milking whatsoever, and if there's anything that works for that, it's definitely the very small Uber ads, so we'll get ready to see how they begin to push this. I can only assume, unless they just want to stalemate it, they don't want to go for risky plays.
Look at Sai's trap. He just like put it. Oh, they got cleared, but he just put like a line by the point. I like the theory behind it. Just not spot as. Look at look at High Five trap. It's like an anti-soldier trap in choke. I don't know where his other one is, but I do see that one at the bare minimum. As they're gonna try to get in through the secret door again. Soapy gonna bomb, make space. They're both soldiers bombing through there. As actually Trip is going in. It is a traction play. Trip, he gets one rocket off. Can he get a second? It's so close. He got the drop.
Oh, that's definitely one of those I should never get forced here drops where he's just like, okay, I'm dropping this. Or actually, maybe they have a crossbows out. Either way, no Uber available for the side of G6, and they're losing some players as well. Only Trip was given it from the side of Mal, and it's actually huge to create a distraction, have Trip go in and get that force. Seems like the defense on G6 was not quite up to the task. As they have a skeleton crew here on last, but they're already rolling in from the side of Mal, and they haven't even used their Uber yet. Soapy's trying his best to see if he can get some sort of force out of him, but the cap time is already going. The gun is going to fall, and yeah, this is going to be easy round for the side of Mal. And overall, tying the game after, it took them a bit, but they finally found their groove to be able to not only break the stalemate, but completely snowball it into a round of their own.
You know what finally worked there, getting it into second, is that both G6 soldiers kind of bombed the stuff that secret door, as Trip just kind of got in it, and there, Little guy, I think he thought he had more health than actually he did, but there's so many players tied up with actually like preventing Mel from walking in that Trip got like 8 million rockets off, and that kind of spelled disaster for him. Is I'm watching to see if Psy bombs again this bit. We're 2 for 2 so far.
Oh,
he's on the
I'm just
booties.
watching him. He wants
he's on the
to.
booties. Look.
Eyes on him only. Oh, he's
Yeah,
not
I'm
jumping.
looking.
Why?
The
as
one
soon as we
the
watch
one
him,
yeah,
right.
yeah, Caster's curse.
Well, one soldier down for the side of Mal, but they have tons and tons of room. Kobe's actually still kind of around, applying some damage, trying to bail out his teammates in the choke, but they're starting to trade some lives over in the choke area. A couple players up for each team, but overall Mal, they've lost a bit too much, and it seems like the change of strategy, trying to throw a wrench in G6's plan. It's not really going to work out, but yeah, Soapy on the chase, and with Psy on the booties, he just has the stickies to work with, but that is enough. 2 stickies in the predicted landing location of Soapy, but the arrow from Logai, did he just thread the needle?
I think he did.
Nobody's
Wait,
business?
Psy's bombing it. There he goes. But he finally did bomb. It was just delayed. As Cap's gonna fall as a kind of a courtesy pick, but the big pick is Dank. Little guy getting revenge for that drop earlier. Getting, I guess not revenge on Dank, but revenge on Mal. As, yeah, pretty, 100% Ubrad pushing into second. I'm curious how Mal wants to hold this. This might, it looks like they have a defense kind of set up. They spotted it at least.
They're poking around. It seems like they don't want to just bust out, otherwise they would have already.
Yeah. They tried to get it. Oh, yeah, they just decided, okay, this door's taking too much, man. We'll go different. But Mal is buying a fair amount of time here. They're actually going to sack a lot of players. Shibu's behind. I don't know if they know. They get the force, and Shibu's still behind. This is such an awkward circumstance. If G6 leaves only 1 to cap, Shibu is a huge play here, potentially.
Yeah, I'm just watching Shamu, because he could be the thing that saves last, pretty much.
Otherwise, Bot mode has no idea. He blocked the point at least. Can he get the kill? It actually doesn't even matter if he gets the skill.
This 2-block is the only thing that actually matters when it comes to the last being free or not. And he's done his job. He didn't get the kill, but just enough to block him off of it. And them having to go back with their flank and the rest of their team to make sure Shamu's dies. Who doesn't even die? I mean, maybe to Soapy rolling out, they pinch him or something? Soapy's weak himself.
Soapy might die.
Okay, no. Shamu will die, but he did his job and then some. He saved that last that otherwise would have been free. I'm kind of surprised. I guess G6 really didn't see him at all, because I mean, if last looks free, then in your mind is like, all right, the only way we lose this is if they block 2. So just leave 2 people at 2 while you're camping. But they really thought they had everything under control. But it's going to be the saving grace for the side of Mal, but trying to even things out and have things more than just even, trying to get this force as Soapy bombs in, getting denied by Scratch. And
I just saw that back on the cast. Soapy tried to bomb into last, got air shot crossbowed, then got heavied down and got taunted by that heavy. So Soapy really sad sack from him.
He got the Halloween taunt too.
Yeah, it was a Halloween taunt as well. So, very unfortunate for Soapy, as Psy can be pushing up a little bit in lobby, but they're just waiting. Bot mode's on sniper. Okay, that's the theory. They want to try to slow push this. No more of these shenanigans. As speaking of shenanigans, Cap's gonna fall to a trap. So good on Psy. The aggressive trap in lobby did end up working.
I don't know if this is really a good last to snipe into. Okay. Well, that wasn't last. That was the alleyway. That was in between the points. That does not count.
that might have been the greatest that was the most time perfect caster curse I've heard in a while. As we are gonna see bot mode is gonna try to peek up in lobby here, but they're actually Soapy just barely lived there, but. Okay, I have to use my sniper rig here. This is the one thing in TF2 I'm good at.
Yeah, you're the sniper player. Look at all the sight lines. Does anything actually seem like you could get in the last without getting, pushed in?
Top right looks kind of clean.
You don't think that you get, stuffed at all? Trying to, sit there?
Not more so than most of the 5 CPs. If your team pushes in front of you and clears it out, maybe. Although the demo can just spam pipes there. I think top right's the best angle, but it's also easiest to spam.
Well, we'll see what they go for. I'm thinking it's probably going to end up being miracle shots, to be honest.
Yeah. Or lower. You could try to slow peek lower. That might be a interesting one. As we do have Scratch on the counter sniper. He's trying to peek up aggressively too, but yeah, see, they're trying to go top right and just spam people out. As here, he is in the window. Does he see anything to shoot? Actually, he's going in super deep.
Yeah,
He
miracle
just did.
shot.
Gets
Counter snipe. Yeah, not really able to find too much. As they're trying to make some moves. Scratch is actually going for a wide peek himself, and he's finding Caps a bit aggressive. Getting a couple shots off, but they're kind of hiding. They're the soldiers that are trying to make space, but they're actually sending Trip go in. And actually, perfect job making sure that they're bundled up in a really awkward position. Go for that force, and that might be a bit of a sticky situation here with losing both their soldiers, but if that's gonna be it, and G6 has nothing left in the tank for this.
Sai is just walking
pretty
it.
Good job.
High five. Okay, he cleared. Sai clarified high five by just walking it. Just Kobe eating a pipe, gonna back up. High five now sticking the shutter door as Mal. It's it's about time they get out of last. Okay, Shamu is gonna switch off. I was gonna say he had a revenge crit if he wanted to, but he decided to get on the good old scout class as G6 is very far back. I think Mal's gonna try to get in without using.
Yeah, they're working their way through the alley, and they pretty much thwarted almost all the back half attempts, covering all the doors, and the rest of G6 don't want any of that. So overall, just going ahead, backing up, trying to get an Uber of their own, not going for the force, just slowing them down, and they've succeeded in that regard. Logai is about to reach his own Uber, and I think Mal kind of recognized that. They can only get one free point out of this if they were going to need to use, and just sitting pretty on to and ready for G6, who's in the driver's seat now to begin their move to try to get the force out. Seems like they have their soldiers outside the secret hallway and trying to make some space while everyone else is kind of bundled around near the choke. It's a very nice sight line for both the demos, just spam like through the choke either direction, but they found bot mode over in the glass hallway. He's actually pretty weak and has to back up, and that might slow things down when it comes to G6 trying to go for sacks, but oh no, Soapy actually tried to find an opening and was able to find Trip, but it's just a trade and not necessarily the kill or force that you want to go for. So overall, I guess that's your sack and counter sack at the same time as we go to pretty much a full reset, maybe.
Oh,
never mind.
Got rolled by
Kobe's on
Kobe.
the move and yeah, just gets rocketed out of the air almost. And
Scout kind of caught in though. Sai does have
G6.
stickies behind him. We'll have to see if they can actually get this kill. They're kind of getting baited in. He gets saved.
Holy arrow.
Bomb mode lives. That arrow was clutch. As yeah, Kobe gonna go behind here, see what chaos he can cause. Is actually a lot of G6 is kind of streamed in through this door. That the pressure was enough. There is a kind of soldier fight on the side. As Abe's gonna lose that. There is going to be a trade out, but in the end, Mal getting the Uber forced and losing 2, whereas Logai has not popped his Uber yet.
Yeah,
and Scratch is behind.
Yeah, bot mode got the 1v1 win versus Shamu
and
behind enemy lines, and Scratch is going to die, unable to kill high five. So overall, 2 separate fights, one on the G6 front after getting that force, and that's a really good play from them, finding the opening, getting the shutter. Kobe doing the legwork to grant themselves this scenario, and keep in mind, they are wanting to go now, but they are only pushing with 4. They don't have a flank that's ready to stream in, but they're actually going to lose a demo man on entry. Trip's going to give up his life with it, taking down the gun and getting some cap time, trying to bring the rest of Mal over here, and the flank has finally arrived. Soldiers bombing in, trying to make some space with their team, but they are going to get mulched kind of. Bot mode really weak, and get his life, but they will kill Dank, so no heals, no Uber long term, and overall, I mean, bit hasty. They're able to get a couple kills and some consolation prizes, but overall G6 is not able to find their footing, maybe pushing it a bit too early. And Logai backing up alone will find a rolling out high five who got dropped in the Uber, and they're gonna have to, be fine with the fact that Dank was the only thing they really got out of this.
Kobe was the real salvager. I feel like that past 2 pushes, Kobe's kind of chatted through and hit really nice directs to kind of save it for G6. Kobe so far having a very good performance. Dank might be a little caught out here. Actually, Dank at E2 rockets, but is gonna live so far, and just a scout for soldier trade for Mal as pretty sizable Uber ad for G6 again. I don't know if it was this big initially, but it's up to 70% already as G6. Okay, they're choosing a different door this time.
Oh, they're going on straight through. Uber coming out, bombing in from the dome, man. They're trying to. Actually, they have so much space.
Oh, bomb mode falling in a trap, and there's a Pudis.
Yeah, there's a heavy they're gonna have to deal with. They have tons of cap time, but the Uber is no longer there to get the flashes out. Kobe bombing in, getting the kill onto the heavy, moving over to the point, killing aim as well, giving his life. But it seems like people are just dying as they're
Soapy's hiding. Look where Soapy's hiding.
Oh, yeah, he is hiding.
Instantly spotted. Going for the spoon. Actually, almost hits it. That was Soapy. I gotta say, the Soapy spoon reg so far, I think he's like 0 for 3 so far. Not, I'm sure I'll get one eventually, but not looking too hot initially.
Yeah, can't succeed if you don't try, but G6, they've tried to push last twice now, but, or I guess, the round they got was technically, like, pushing last, even though it was free, but, like, pushing in with an Uber ad, they've dropped people on every entry so far, so I'm gonna have to clean that up. But tabled for now is Mal. They're trying to work their way through, but Scratch.
Speaking of dropping people,
yes, trying to make space and just immediately melted.
Combo falling though.
Yeah, got a bit aggressive.
Yeah, Kobe is behind, and Trip spotted it, so they know. Soapy might be caught in here. Actually, AIM is gonna get 2v1 here. Both G6 soldiers kind of behind right now, creating chaos, and I think Mal's kind of stuck. They're gonna have to use here just from the position they kind of got stuck in. Wallguy's gonna repop his Uber, but Soapy is behind for this pinch. If actually he's Giga behind, I take that back.
Kobe went through the glass hallway, able to flank a little bit on the Dank. Soapy cleaning up the kill, able to take down the medic and Psy. The rest of Mal are not in the best shape right now. Trip trying to go for a pack. Scratch is trying to hold out.
Scratch is
doing
a miraculous job holding out.
Not getting too much damage out, and and might be able to clean these kills here. It's just Wallguy left alone. They're a bit separated. He's surfing one final surf, unable to survive, and
I'm trying to back cap, or I guess almost front cap. This is such a weird scenario because there's players behind and in front of him. We'll see if he can win. Oh wait, they can't find him. They found him.
Oh, yeah. Just 2 shots Scratch onto Shamu now, but will die. And I mean, G6, they were in a pretty good spot, but they just overstayed their welcome. Didn't want to rotate out of the position they were in. They're gonna bite for it.
Oh my god.
Yeah, Dank his survival skills are on point right now so far, and they're on the move. They have a play rad to work into mid. Long term might be rough if it doesn't work out too well, because the 5v4 might turn into a 5v6 if they're not too careful. But they're on the move now.
Okay, he's finally finding someone to heal, but Soapy gonna fall. Yeah, Soapy gonna fall. Not ideal as. Yeah, okay. Look at G6 streaming forward though. Even though they're kind of losing players, they're still streaming forward here. Okay, they do manage to fight Scratch, but not looking too hot for Mal that fight. They have Uberad, but they don't have the players. And Psy caught up in the air. Psy gonna get mulched here as Dank and AIM are gonna get out to last, but at what cost?
Yeah, that's the thing when you push with both teams having players down. It's a bit rough. If it takes too long, their reinforcements will come in time.
Oh, here's an Uber.
Uber's coming out to try to salvage things. Lolguy 96% will eventually get, but onto Lolguy will finally pop the Uber. Now moving on to the scouts. So much rocket damage, and they will immediately melt both of those as they work their way into last. And no scout speed for Dank as he tries to work back into the spawn, and the soldiers are trying to do work, but it's going to be Psy is going to be the one that falls. There's no more stickies available to be on the point. No scouts are actually going over to it to start the cap time, just trying to clean up how.
Oh, they're going to try to milk this.
And, yeah, they're milking it out. They know that with 15 seconds left, if they can spawn camp for 13 seconds, have it reach infinite overtime, and then cap the round is
Kobe trying to taunt in the door.
They might have bitten off more than 2, depending.
Psy is jumping. He's trying to bomb high 5. Unable to get.
There's the win limit. 2 projectile classes versus the world.
Oh, head? Oh, he almost got the 2K.
It's a very heads-up play, recognizing the amount of time left, and reaching over infinite overtime. Win limit immediately changed to 2, and then they cap it up, make it hit 2, and that is going to be the game.
I feel like Mal overextended so much in that last Uber of theirs. Like, I was okay with the theory, but when they did get the initial picks, they just kept going until maybe they thought their ad was bigger than it actually was, or someone just beefed. I didn't see what happened, but that aggressive Uber from Mal just ended up really backfiring on them, and I think kind of lost them the game.
I think it makes sense that even if the Uber is going to be bad, maybe like a scout target, just sacrifice their life to at least get the force. But Log 1 even have yet, and then 2, I think Shamu and Scratch had like the same idea, so they ended up both dying, which is really bad. I think if only one of them died, it might not have been the worst. Like obviously it wasn't a good Uber, but you like kind of salvaged a bad situation. But losing both scouts, yeah, that was the not the best thing for them.
And your Uber, because you just used it.
Yeah, of course. That's the given.
Yeah.
But overall, no one predicting the 2-1. It's one of those sticky situations where you don't know if a team's just going to roll over due to a team being unprepared on a new map, or if it's going to be so much back and forth that it's going to be hard to reach the 5-round limit with there only being 30 minutes with the infinite overtime. So not going to be anything there. But we do have the stats.
Holy high 5.
And high 5 topping the damage in the server. High 5 demo, man. It's back.
Yeah, high 5 demo. Back, you're acting as if it only left may have left the server, but it never left our hearts.
It never left the DM servers. That's for sure.
Yeah, it never left the DM server. As high 5, gonna take that.
And taking a look at the kills in spot mode, also leading the charge on the side of G6, which makes sense. It was a narrow victory, but a victory nonetheless. But I feel like really, if you compare a lot of these stats, they're not too dissimilar. I think the only big difference, like in raw numbers, is a singular scout KD is different. bot mode got way more work done than the side of Shamu. Shamu was able to, try to do work for his team, but not cleaning up the kills because I guess the damage wasn't really there in comparison. But for the side of bot mode, he definitely made sure every time he got in, it resulted in a kill. And
Yeah.
I think that's probably the only real big difference. Everything else is probably contextual to the match itself.
I mean, it was a very close match. It was a 2-1 that got lost in overtime. So it makes sense his stats are close. One thing to note, I think, is interesting. Lol guy, 2 more Ubers and 2 more drops. So Lol guy, I don't know if maybe just G6 felt they could be more proactive, but they definitely got more Ubers, and even with the 2 drops, I think Dank played very well. To be fair, I think I saw Dank living in situations, and I was like, oh, Dank's dead, and then he just like miraculously surf and dodge his way to survival.
Yeah. And while we have interviews pending, I think it's important before people potentially file out. It's probably important to talk about the cup that's happening in November because this
True.
map has to do with that. You've seen a taste of what this map is now, and if you want to have your 2 cents in on what the map pool is going to be in the future seasons, definitely participate in the Map Cup, November 5th, 3 p.m. EST and onward if you can. I think it's a weekend cup, and it's going to be man-based Sultry, and then for playoffs, Villa will be included. Some of the newer blood, and I guess it's not blood because it's not players, but you know what I mean. And some of the newer maps, and like I said, it's important because if you want to be able to be heard about like this map needs to change this, and then it's good, or oh, this map should definitely be played. This map shouldn't be in at all. It needs more work. Like if you want to be heard, you definitely get your team, get a pug team, get something to be able to participate over the weekend if possible, so that we can all shape what our future seasons map pools will look like together.
If you have actually, I heard the mumble join sound, so we might have an interview. Oh, we have Soapy here. What up, Soapy?
Toro.
So congratulations on your victory. Pretty hard fought, pretty close. Any insight at all on picking this map in particular? I don't know if you're the one that's going to be pulling the trigger on the map pick, but any idea or any thoughts when you heard that this was going to be the map that was played?
Yeah, I mean, I just kind of picked it because I'm tired of playing Process, Sunshine, Snakewater every night, and I think we all thought they were like a lot better than Mao, so that we can like beat them on any map, but we almost lost, so
Damn,
it didn't really work
ego.
out.
You gotta hold
What
that
the
in
hell,
there,
Zilly?
bud.
Get out of here!
Guest Zilly here
Off!
showing up.
Get out of here, man!
Oh,
Alright.
and there he goes.
Thank you, Zilly.
I was
So
gonna ask him what he thought.
going into this match, I'm assuming that there was some sort of prep work involved. What do you think was the most important part of the game to really nail down if you wanted to, have full control of the map? Was it a classic mid type of deal with every
Yeah,
map,
our
or
mids were terrible.
was it something else?
Yeah, our mids were terrible. Our mids were really, really bad. Even in the pregame scrims and like the days before, our mids were really, really bad. But we kind of figured it out a little bit later.
Great thoughts on side bombing just as the dome then like straight into your choke on mid. I think he did that twice.
Sai does that sometimes. I can't. I've tried to figure out how Sai plays the game, but it doesn't work. He just kind of does what he wants. I don't know.
So when it comes to obviously this is a new map, so you want to pick your brain a bit at it. I'm sure people are curious. When it comes to the flank, when you compare it to the rest of the pool, I mean, some maps are pretty easy to like clear and transition through and make sure that like no one's hiding. You can get through and make space for your team, etc., etc. Does it seem like a easier map to kind of do your job in that regard, or is it a bit more difficult with feels like there's a lot of indoor hallways and I mean, you have the skybox in mid, but that's about it. It feels like for height. Any thoughts about trying to make the best of what you got on this map?
Yeah, I mean, as far as like flanks go, they're like the same as any other map. I feel like, because like most 5 CP maps, aside from like one, I think Gully Wash is the one map that this doesn't apply to, where every 5 CP map has like 3 flanks, entering second and entering mid. And this is like another one of those maps. I think it works pretty much the same as like any other 5 CP. But they are smaller doors, so you can kind of just like sit there and wait as soldier and kind of bait out the run behind. But I don't know.
I think every team. Oh, go ahead. Oh, I think every team preps a little bit differently in terms of like how intensely they get ready for these new maps. Do you guys feel like that you had like a decent amount of preparations? Like, all right, we're ready for this match, or even as you're playing the match, are there things like, oh, we gotta fix this, do that? You're noticing new things as the match goes on.
We had pretty bad preparation for this match. We played pretty pretty subpar, I feel like, but we figured. I think we learned a couple things as the match went on. So I wouldn't necessarily take it. I want to be like I'm not too mad about this result. We won. It's a dub in the column. We learned a couple things. Not the end of the world.
What are
It's
your,
always important to widen the map pool.
what are your thoughts on having high 5 as the ringer dome and coming in with the top damage too, no less?
Oh yeah, Kyle did good. But Logan's PC like exploded last night.
Oh jeez.
So we don't have a demo. We don't have a demo, so we kind of have to figure that out. I don't know what we're gonna do, but yeah, I think Logan's watching. He's on his phone. I see him in chat.
Hey, baby.
Hopefully he's back in pretty quickly. PC issues are a wide variety of amount of time it takes to fix them. So fingers
it's
crossed
no
in that
bueno.
regard.
Yeah.
Now the match has been played out. Any MVPs coming to mind that really carried the torch that made this the 2-1 that it was, rather than a really tied game or a fortunate loss or anything like that?
Low guy. I
Think he did
that's
work.
my MVP. Yeah, low guy's my MVP.
It started out a little rough, I think, with Low Guy, the drops and stuff like that, but he definitely tightened up.
Those were not his fault at all.
Yeah, during the cast,
One of them
I
definitely
wondered,
was just like, one of them was definitely like, I'm not popping to this.
No, yeah, I said that during the
Yeah,
cast.
no.
Like that definitely was one of those like I shouldn't have to force here. I'm just not like chill him. That's your But he
Yeah.
definitely didn't see anything like that later on. Everything was tightened up, including his plays. So
He got I'm pretty sure he got like 2 kills on their medic. Like there was one where he like sniped him across the map when Dank was like
across
1
second?
health. Yeah,
Yeah.
which was like huge, and because like if we didn't kill him there, it would have been even, and we would have had to like sack 100 times in the last. But he got the kill, so it's pretty clutch from him. Yeah, obviously, High Five is also another one of my MVPs because he ranked for us.
True.
Shout
Always
him.
gotta shout out the ringers and things like that.
Yeah, for sure.
Any other questions come to your mind, Space?
No, I'm good.
All right, time to go over to shoutouts. Any final shoutouts or thoughts before we wrap up the stream, Soapy?
Shout out to my team. Shout out to all the XG6 players: Zilly, Skis, Howard, Rakuso. Shout out to Drift and Maxi Krung. And shout out to Logan, man. I see you in chat. Fix your computer, man. I miss you.
Any shoutouts from you, Space?
Yeah, no, shout out to both teams playing good match. Shout out to our first, I think, Sultry stream. First of that map. Maybe we'll see more. Probably see it in playoffs at some point. Honestly, it seems like one of those maps that'll pop up then. Shout out to both teams playing good match. Everyone watching, Dolphin on production, and yeah.
And then definitely shout out to all, like you said, and all the people watching, all the viewers. Sultry is hard to cast because I'm constantly just like thinking like, all right, what did I name this? Or like, is this good or is this
I felt
bad
the same way.
geometry to fight on? So it's hard to like, I'm in like analysis mode even when I'm in the middle of casting. So it can be a bit difficult, but it's always a nice challenge. So shout out to everyone watching and everyone for, I guess you guys for picking the map, getting the change of pace here. And I think that's about it. We've already shout out the cup and things like that. And this is an important thing out of the way. So I think it's time to go ahead and wrap up the stream. If you want to watch more TF2 content, the next thing you'll be watching is the Highlander on Monday. But if Highlander's not your cup of tea, you're going to have to wait for matches to get rescheduled over the next week. So that'll be pending Tuesday and Thursday as usual. Sometimes they're Wednesday rescheduled, so keep your eyes peeled for news in that regard. But for tonight, that'll be it from us. I've been Jarrett, casting with Space Ghost with Dolphin on production. Thank you and good night.
Good night.